UFC hype trains derailed.
I see my haters proud of me now. When I'm around, it's all smiles. I took over my whole town.
Alright, for this list, I wanted to make sure that the fighters had at least 2 fights under their belt, because I feel like when fighters go 1-1 or something like that, it's kind of hard to say the hype trains derailed. But Robelis Despain was definitely one of the nominees for this list. Even though he didn't make it, I had to make some type of criteria to try to make this list more legitimate, in my opinion. And I know I'm skipping the flyweight division. I just don't know any really highly touted, hyped up prospects in the flyweight division that got derailed. So with that being said, let's start this list off with the bantamweight division. Starting this list off with somebody that probably has the best resume on this entire list. We are going with my guy, Ricky Simón. Ricky Simón kind of had his hype train derailed twice, which is kind of rare. First time was against a returning Uriah Faber, where Uriah Faber was able to come back after, I want to say, 2 or 3 years off and finish Ricky Simón. But after that, he was able to reel off 5 wins in a row, and then he ran into another prime, ready to go prospect and Mr. Song Yadong. And that just led to a losing streak that is now at 3 after he lost his fight against Vinicius Oliveira. Ricky Simón, I don't know what's left for him, but I feel like he was one of the more hyped up 135-pound prospects that I've seen. In the featherweight division, I think I'm going to have to go with Sadiq Super Youssef. Starting off his UFC career, blazing hot, 4 wins in a row. After that, I mean, he's on a 2-fight skid right now. He lost to Edson Barboza after looking fantastic in that first round, and then you follow that up with a loss on the biggest card ever, according to the UFC, at UFC 300 versus Diego Lopez, where he was starched inside the first round. He will probably end up being ranked once again here in the near future. I feel like he's one of the better fighters. I just feel like that hype train has left the station right now. He very well could get back into contendership eventually, but the hype right now is gone. In the lightweight division, we are taking Mr. Alexander Hernandez. Alexander Hernandez started his UFC career off fantastically, starting the number 12th ranked Beneil Dariush in under a minute. Very hard. Very few people can say that. Under a minute. I don't think Charles Oliveira was under a minute, but I do think Arman Sarukian's was. Either way, they all 3 knocked him out, so it is what it is. And he followed that fight with a win over OAM, who OAM in his own right kind of left the UFC and was way better off for it, winning the PFL tournament twice. So that's neither here nor there. Then he was given a fight to where, like, all right, show me what you can do. Show me what you can do. Can you get past Donald Cowboy Cerrone? If you can get past him, you're opening yourself up to a really good spot. Potentially a number 1 contenders fight after that. But as you can see, that man did not get past Cowboy Cerrone. Pretty much after that fight, his last 10 fights, he is 4-6. And he got finished in 3 of those, and he's on a 2-fight losing streak currently. So that's the career state as is for Mr. Alexander Hernandez, one of the more hyped up 155ers that I can remember. Mike Malott, hyped up as the next great Canadian fighter. steps of the George St. Pierre's, the Roy McDonald's, those type of guys. He was supposed to be the next one that carried the torch. Starting his UFC career 3-0 with all three of those being finished. The UFC set him up perfectly with a main card fight in his home country of Canada against a Neil Magny, a gatekeeper for the most part of his career. But he does have the record for the most wins in the welterweight division, and this was Mike Malott. All right, this is your party. This is your party. You're the highest billed Canadian on this card, and this is for you. This is for you. We gave you a pay-per-view event in your home country. You're the third fight. The other two fights above you are title fights. They think really, really highly of you, and he dominated. He dominated the first 2 rounds. And Neil Magny did what Neil Magny does. He's weathered the storm, and he was able to finish Mike Malott in the 3rd round by vicious ground and pound, unanswered ground and pound at that. I think Mike Malott will be perfectly fine going forward, but I think his hype train definitely took a very, very big hit in this fight. In the middleweight division, we are going with the golden boy, Mr. Edmen Shahbazyan. Starting his UFC career off fast, 4-0, finishing 3 of those fights inside the 1st round. Edmen Shahbazyan was heralded as one of the next elite fighters. They had people asking the question, not if he was going to be a UFC champion, but when is he going to be a UFC champion? And if you don't believe me, here is his manager, Ronda Rousey.
Just speaks to the inevitability of his championship reign. Like, it's not if, it's when. This kid is special. He is one in a generation, and I know what the fuck I'm looking at, and you know what you're looking at. And
going into his fight with Derek Brunson, they thought Derek Brunson was going to be a stepping stone for him to be successful in the future. Brunson had a different thought in his mind as he was able to pretty much steamroll Edmen Shahbazyan inside of 1. And he said there is levels to it, and he kind of showed it. He did drop his next 2 after he lost to Derek Brunson, but one of them was against Nazarene Imanov, so it's not too much to hold your head down about. And he's only 26 years old still, and I feel like he's going to have a very, very fun run coming up soon. He's got Durham Mercer coming up soon, I think in August. So I think the hype train's derailed, but I feel like he's a really, really good fighter still, if that makes sense. So Edmen Shahbazyan is my middleweight pick.
It's always light on that lead leg.
Oh, the left got through for Shahbazyan. Now he's pouncing.
Oh, man, he hurt him bad.
He has turned the tables. 30 to go in the round.
He's out. He's out.
In the light heavyweight division, my personal favorite division, we got somebody that came all the way from Brazil, and he was fun, flamboyant, did everything he needed to do. First 3 fights, all 3 finishes inside the 1st round. With one of those wins being over Khalil Roundtree, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker was going into this Corey Anderson fight. Probably after that fight, 1 fight away from a title shot. And Corey Anderson showed him that his levels. He showed him that his levels, and he made it look pretty easy against Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker came out unorthodox, try to like blend in movement, speed, and stuff like that. And Corey Anderson caught him. He just caught him, and it sucks because after that loss, he's been 4-5 in the UFC. He's been finished in 3 of those losses, and they're not just like little KOs. He's getting brutally knocked out in some of these losses. So Johnny Walker, he had all the hype train going for him in the beginning of his career. Now he's just a meme. He's a knockout lost meme, in my opinion. The Jamal Hill knockout, the Volkan Oezdemir knockout, the Magomed Ankalaev knockout. All 3 of those are pretty brutal. If there's all 3 separate people, they'll be bad, but all 3 of them coming against the same guy, it doesn't look too good. So Johnny Walker is my light heavyweight pick. Starting your UFC career off 4-0 is great. Starting your UFC career off 4-0 with a win over a title challenger and a former title holder is fantastic. Sergino Rozenstruik did just that. and he made a very, very, very daunting call out against this man right here.
How soon might we see you back in the octagon in 2020?
Now, can I hold this a little? I mean, I want to be back like March, April, and I really want to fight this big, scary guy, Francis Ngannou. So, if you hear this right now, I hope you accept this fight. Man, let's give those people a real show, all right?
It seems like every time the UFC tries to give him a step up in competition, he loses, in my opinion. I mean, he lost to Cyril Gane, he lost to Alexander Volkov, he lost to Jan Almeida, he lost to Curtis Blades. So I feel like Biggie Boy is a really, really fun, strategic heavyweight fighter, especially after his performance versus Shamil Gaziev, which I picked Shamil Gaziev to win that. I didn't expect Shamil Gaziev to have a gas tank of a 70-year-old. I don't know where I'm going with that, but he looked really, really tired after, I want to say the first round, maybe the second round. But Biggie Boy, he still has a really, really good career in front of him. What do you guys think about my list? Who would y'all add? Who would y'all take off? Let me know down below. Like always, I appreciate you watching the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to, or just do one of those things. I'll be very, very thankful that you did that. Like always, be good people. Peace.